Want to learn how to get a business analyst job? What a business analyst job description is in the first place? Business analyst salary, business analyst interview questions, how to put together a business analyst resume, and overall how to become a business analyst? Congratulations. Business analyst jobs can be rewarding, and you found the right business analyst training series to answer all those things. I've been a top performing professional for 22 years, and I'm going to teach you all these business analyst skills that I learned through trial and error in a small fraction of that time. So what is a business analyst? Let's check out today's exciting topic to find out. So if you follow the business analyst training series on this channel so far, you should be able to answer what is a business analyst and what are business analyst roles and responsibilities. Today, we're going to talk about the top 11 business analyst skills that you need to succeed as a business analyst. And you're not going to believe what number 11 is, so stick all the way through the video to find out. The first business analyst skill that you need to be proficient in the role is analytical thinking. So that's the ability to understand complex situations, analyze the data being presented to you, identify patterns in that data, and try to piece it together into a solution that meets the requirements that your customer is seeking to fulfill. Remember, your customers are coming to you as a business analyst with business problems. They have a problem they're trying to solve, and you have a solution that you're trying to use to solve that business problem. So analytical thinking in trying to determine the different points of view from the different people working at your customer's organization and piecing them together into something that will provide a solution that works for everybody does require analytical thinking and practice with complex situations that have factors that are multiple in nature. Business analyst skill number 2 is problem solving. So problem solving involves taking a business problem, breaking it down into its component pieces, identifying a path of root cause analysis of what's causing this business problem, and then having coaching or other processes in place to try to improve the causes and therefore improve the overall business problem. The way I've done this in my jobs in the past is in the contact center industry. So we have certain key performance indicators, or they're known as KPIs. So write that down, vocabulary that you should know. And those key performance indicators, like how long did it take to solve a customer's problem on the phone? What was the quality of service provided? Things like this are indicators of whether a contact center agent is doing a good job or not. Then you want to break that down into its components, because you can't simply say to an agent, you're taking too long to help a customer. From now on, take less time. That's not substantial enough or detailed enough for them to have action items on what to do to actually affect that key performance indicator. So what we do is we break that down and say, how long are you actually taking helping the customer? How long are they on hold while you get your supervisor for additional assistance? How long are you working on this case after you hang up with the customer because of things you couldn't solve simultaneously while you were on the phone with them? But now you start to get to components of that KPI. And if the component is you're taking too long after the call's over, such that you are not ready to take the next call and move on with a productive day, then you look at which behaviors are causing those components of the KPI to be off from where the objective or the goal is. And it could be just a talking and typing class. I'm a notorious hunter and pecker. I have to look at the keyboard when I type. Learning how to type while looking away from the keys could help a contact center agent talk with the customer and talk them through their issue while taking the notes so they don't have to afterwards. So, problem solving requires practice in establishing a root cause process. KPI to pieces of the KPI to behaviors that can be changed to affect not only that KPI, but maybe other ones as well. You'll lower the time taken to solve the customer's issue and the quality of service, so you affect 2 KPIs with 1 behavior. That's problem solving in a business analyst world. So if you've stuck with me this far through the video, I hope you're getting some great value and want to be notified every time I drop the next piece of training in this series. Go ahead and subscribe to How to Be a Business Analyst below and click that bell button for all notifications. Once you've done that, drop me a comment in the comments below letting me know that you subscribed, and I'll go ahead and try to answer all of those comments personally. Business analyst skill number 3 is communication and facilitation of workshops and meetings. So as a business analyst, you do need to be able to have a pretty vast vocabulary, especially business-wise, and be able to communicate with customers who are also business analysts, executives, and everything in between. And so you need to be able to communicate clearly verbally during meetings and workshops and via email and other methods as well. These days, we're communicating with our customers on Microsoft Teams and other chat mediums as well, WebEx and so forth, and Zoom. So you need to be able to tailor your communication style so that it is effective and not offensive in all of these media. So a business analyst is typically responsible for setting up or at least facilitating all of the meetings that are required as part of your project lifecycle. You're often working with a project manager who sets up the timeline and how long each of these meetings should take, weeks-wise or days-wise, but it's the business analyst's responsibility to come up with the agenda for each of those meetings and to keep everybody on course while you're talking through each of those agenda items. So while you're gathering requirements, you may be asking the customer questions about how their business works overall, how the line of business that you're focusing on during this meeting fits into that overall vision, and then how we want to try to address the business problem that that line of business is encountering today, given the data that is available. And so your problem-solving skills kick in when you get to see that transactional data and trying to find patterns in it to determine what story it's telling you in terms of being able to solve that business problem. So again, a business analyst needs a problem-solving and facilitation mindset. You want to be able to guide people through a bulleted list of agenda items for one meeting and a set of meetings in the sense that you're trying to get to the bottom of or the root cause of a particular business problem. The fourth business analyst skill is industry knowledge. So in my career, I've worked with customers in a variety of different industries, and I've always tried to bone up on my knowledge on that particular industry, whether it be pharmaceuticals or telecom or flights. We've dealt with data from flight providers before, from cruise providers, all sorts of things like that. You always want to have at least a basic knowledge of that industry so you can speak intelligently on the first meeting that you get on with a particular customer so that you're asking questions to understand their business problem, but not at such a basic level that they don't think you even tried. It's similar in my mind, pro tip, to when you're interviewing for a job. You don't want to show up to the interview without any knowledge of what they're looking for or what the company does. Same thing as a business analyst. You want to show up for requirements meetings or whether it's a kickoff meeting, whatever the first meeting is that you're having with that customer, because a first impression lasts a lifetime. With the knowledge, at least a basic knowledge of what their company does and what they're trying to achieve and maybe what some of their most recent initiatives are, at the very least you'll impress them by knowing more than they expect you to know. Business analyst skill number 5 is technical acumen. So what type of software should business analysts know how to use? SQL is a must. You don't need to know it to an extreme level of technical detail, but you do need to know it in terms of being able to write joins with SQL tables to join transactional data to dimensional data or any sort of related tables in a relational database system to be able to tie pieces of data together that tell you the data story that will eventually solve the business problem that you're trying to solve. So SQL, people say it both ways. Whether it's SQL Server or Oracle or whatever the SQL flavor is that's being used at the organization you're trying to work at. Learn more about that flavor, and we can get into specific tools in a later video where I give you a bunch of more detail about that. But Tableau is a big one these days. This is a data visualization engine. Power BI is sort of a competitor to Tableau. They both take data and allow you to visualize them in visually stimulating ways for your end users. So traditional trend lines and bar graphs, but go far beyond that to scatter plots and box and whisker plots and Pareto diagrams and all that sort of stuff. You can even do Gantt charts in Tableau. So a data visualization tool will be necessary for a business analyst. You may also find yourself in a situation where your company has a proprietary tool for this. I have as well, and you may need to sort of learn from the ground up from within your company. What other tools does a business analyst need to know in terms of technical acumen? The Microsoft suite, right? So Word, Excel, these sorts of things. Excel is actually a great place to start with data visualization if you don't have a more robust tool like Tableau. Excel does a lot of these visualizations already, so it's a good way to get yourself accustomed to, sort of what's a scatter plot and these sorts of things. The other kinds of technical tools that business analysts use are defect tracking tools, so something like Jira or things like that. You may also be using SharePoint to house defects logged by your customer and to triage such things. So these are some examples of technical software that you'll come across as a business analyst. Of course, you'll also have to get accustomed to the solution that your company offers, that they are offering to their customers, and learn how that works as well. You may have a differing degree of how hands-on you're going to be with building or configuring that tool, depending on how the company you're trying to work for handles the business analyst role. Some of them are more technical than others, but be ready for that. Business analyst skill number 6 is adaptability and flexibility. So I've always seen business analyst roles evolve over time in the companies where I've worked. You may interview and get a business analyst job after putting together your perfect business analyst resume and get in there and be told, here are the tasks that are associated with the job as of today. And then you'll see that over time, those tasks may evolve. Now, that could be a bit frightening for you if you had in your mind that this is what I'm going to be doing and that's it. But I'll tell you from experience that you get bored over time doing the same things over and over for years. So if I were you, I would embrace an evolving sort of skill set or task set within the role, of course within limits, right? So when folks come to you and it might seem like they're trying to get you to do their job for them, this happens unfortunately in the industry as well, it's okay to professionally and politely go to your manager and ask, what do you think of this situation? I wouldn't blow up the person who's coming to you. You want to maintain good working professional relationships with people within your group and cross-functionally. So maybe a discussion with your manager privately about, this happened. What do you think about this? How would you handle it? Just to determine whether it's within your role or not. But overall, business analyst roles do evolve over time. They are flexible even within the current time in terms of who you're helping from week to week and what kind of work you're doing. And that's what I think really makes the role exciting. Business analyst skill number 7 is attention to detail. So business analysts need to be very detail-oriented. If you're a person that kind of goes with the flow and are okay not being, I won't say perfect, but not being very attentive to everything you do in your job, business analyst is not the job for you. There is lots of documentation in most business analyst roles. You're doing requirements documents, you're doing translation into some sort of functional specification. You may be putting together testing templates for your customers. You may be putting together handover documentation for your support team after your projects are over. So there's a lot of documentation that goes into being a business analyst. Design documentation is another one where you are able to show your customers what they're going to receive and make them imagine this wonderful solution that you're about to provide to them. So attention to detail is very important in terms of documenting all of these steps along the way, especially for repeat customers. When they come back to you in the future, let's say next year when they have a new budget, or next quarter when they have a new budget, where they may not have all the same players working together with you at that point, you want to have documented to an incredible level of detail what was built last time around, so everybody knows how best to build from there and how best the business initiatives can take advantage of the groundwork that was already laid down in the previous project. Business analyst skill number 8 is collaboration and teamwork. So business analysts work with a variety of other groups. So in my experience, we've worked with the support team, the R&D team, the product management team, project managers, the sales team, marketing team from time to time. And that's just internally. Then you're going to work with all of these functions, or many of them, on the customer side as well. So as a business analyst, you need to be a collaborator. You need to be someone who enjoys working cross-functionally with others and lending your expertise to make their lives and their jobs better, and receiving their expertise to make your job easier, and working together as a team to move forward smoothly. So we can get into in future videos more details about how we interact with each of these teams. But as I said, business analysts work cross-functionally with many other teams, and it's got to be something that you enjoy if you want to pursue how to become a business analyst and get a business analyst job. You want to be able to have empathy for the other groups as well. So each group is going to have their own agenda. And rather than sort of sticking to your agenda and not caring about theirs, you want to have everyone feel like they're an important contributor to the project. Business analyst skill number 9 is leadership. So you may think, well, I'm just trying to get an entry-level business analyst job for the first time. How do I demonstrate leadership in that role without being a manager or without being a director or an executive? And that's very simple. Business analysts, since they touch and work with so many different other groups, both internally and externally, have influence over all those things. The business analyst, after all, is gathering the requirements and creating the design. It's their design, right? So they have influence over why a certain feature or functionality will work better than another for the given requirement. Your customer, if they've never worked with you before, don't know anything about your solution, but you do as a business analyst. So you need to demonstrate leadership, cool confidence, and not arrogance, but I feel that this is going to work and here's my supporting evidence. And again, respect all others' opinions, but as a business analyst, you'll grow into a confident communicator who is able to influence others by showing them the value that you genuinely want to provide for them. Business analyst skill number 10 is continuous learning. So there's the CBAP, there's a bunch of different business analyst certifications that we can talk about in an upcoming video very soon. There's LinkedIn Learning courses, which I really love and encourage you to go check out LinkedIn Learning, get a subscription there and look up and learn all of the business analyst videos and courses and learning paths that they have available there. There's just a variety and a wealth of information for business analysts to continue learning, and they should continue to do so to learn industry trends and new skills that will enable them to provide more value ongoing to their customers. And I promised you that if you stuck through all the way to the end of the video, you may be surprised by the one bonus business analyst skill that I have for you, and that is storytelling. So business analysts are typically known for being technical and analytical folks and great requirements gatherers. But the ability to be a good storyteller is what glues together all of those things and makes it compelling. Remember, customers are coming to you because your sales team has had discussions with them in which the idea was brought out that they have a business problem that you may be able to solve. The business analyst needs to craft a story around this business problem and how it's solvable with the solution that you have available or one of the multiple solutions that you have available. It's interesting because I often think about, I have young kids and they always want me to tell them the stories, and the stories have to be compelling. They have to be stories that they're interested in. My one child wants to hear about penguins and the other one wants to hear about princesses, and I have to, instead of going to the bookshelf and grabbing a book, I have to craft a story in my head that makes them both happy. And in many ways, this is what a business analyst is. There's a lot more listening than you might think. So if you can take courses on business consulting or business coaching, they will be of great benefit to you. Business analysts spend lots of their time listening to the story that the customer is telling and then weaving that into a story that's inclusive of a particular solution. On the way there, though, there's lots of questions. So one of the techniques that business coaching teaches, and I have certification here, so I'm a credible witness, is you don't tell people what to do as if you know more than they do. Coaching is helping people uncover blind spots that they may not have realized to check, right? So there's a distinct difference there. And you're doing the same thing with your customers. So they say, we have a business problem. The quality of our offering to our customers is below the goal that we want it to be at. So then you ask questions. How long has this been an issue? Have you seen seasonal trends? Have you had turnover in your workforce where training may have changed from the first group of people to the second? Is there something you can tweak in your offering or your training to your workforce that would help here? Things like this. And as you ask people questions, remember this. People never care about what you're saying as much as they care about what they are saying. You have to get your customers talking more and more, and the less you talk, the more effective you'll be as a business analyst and as a communicator in general. So thanks for sticking all the way through the video and getting that big bonus at the end. Business analysts are storytellers. So thanks again for joining me, and I'll catch you again on the next training video.